Hey Cam fam, welcome back and welcome to Keeping Up with Cam. If you're new here, thank you so much for tuning into our channel. And if you're a returning subby, thank you so much for coming back. So today we have our Toddler Boy Hairstyle video number 93. It is going to be an updated version of our Mohawk braid. Cam wanted this for the Christmas holidays, and we also had a subscriber ask for me to do an updated version of the older video that we had. I'll link that for you guys as well. So I figured, why not make everybody happy? So this is that video. Now I want to say we're starting off with a center part, but for some reason I lost the footage. So you are going to part straight down the middle, but then you're also going to take a little bit on each side, a little bit on the left, a little bit on the right to make that middle portion. You will get a better look at it as we proceed on, but just make sure that it's not just a straight center part. You have hair sectioned out on both sides. Now going in, you see here that I am parting the hair going in towards the center because as it is a mohawk, we want it to go into the middle, and that's where everything's meeting up. So I'm doing it curved lines. I just kind of like it. It makes it look a little bit neater and cleaner, and it just brings everything in all together. But you can do straight lines, you can do zigzags, you can, add in a flower, a rainbow, a heart, whatever you want. But for me, I decided to go with our curved lines. As you can see here towards the back, I switched up a bit, kind of giving it like a triangle meeting point towards the ear, and then the last one is going to be a zigzag. But again, getting ahead of myself, you will see that here. So as you see, I am just parting everything off, making sure that I know where I want things to go. This is again the section that I'm leaving for the middle. That was the first part that I showed you, and then I'm just showing you all the braids that we have on the right side. Again, everything that we do on the right, we're going to do on the left. I'm very much so a symmetrical braider. It just makes it so much easier. No surprises. You know exactly what you're getting. So I've gone in now that I've pre-parted everything, and I'm going in just to clean everything up. I'm adding in gel to the parts, and I'm cleaning up the lines as well. And then I'm just going to start braiding. So everything that we're doing, we're braiding in. So instead of the usual starting at the center and braiding out, or starting at the front and braiding back, you're going to stand on the opposite side of where you're braiding, and you're going to braid towards yourself, because that's just going to bring everything inward. Keep them as small and as neat as you can. You don't want to keep them too small, because then you're going to be braiding forever. But you do want to make sure that the style is neat and looks nice. So once I braid to that middle part there, I go in with my Goodie elastics. Love these things. I get them from Walmart. You're just going to put an elastic at the end of each braid just to secure it in place. In theory, this style is very easy to do because it doesn't have too much complicated parts, but it's just a lot of repetition. So you're going to continue to do all of the braiding of those sections that you did straight from the side of the head, the perimeter, into the middle. Make sure you're not putting the elastic at the end too tight. You don't want to cause any tension bumps. You don't want to cause any irritation, any redness to the scalp. And if we do it too tight and we get done and then now you have to go back in and loosen things up, you're probably going to have to end up taking out the style. So we don't want that. So make sure that it's in there well enough that it's keeping the braid together, but not too tight that it's cutting off circulation or just being too tight in the style itself. Even though, they're getting a little bit older, not as young as they used to be, their scalps and their heads are still sensitive, and a lot of our little ones are very tender-headed, so we want to make sure it's as enjoyable as possible. That way they don't give us a fuss or trouble when we're trying to get these styles done. So as you see, I have jumped along here. So now I am 5 braids in. I'm doing the 6th one. And like I said, it's literally just the same thing. You're just going to start at the perimeter of the head, and you're just going to braid in towards you. All right, and as you can see, we're done with the front, so we're gonna get started on the back section. As you can see here, this is kind of like an interlocking of the braids. They're starting at the same meeting points and working their way around. So we're not going all in the same direction. But I am starting here and I'm going to swoop these braids back, still into the middle, but I'm just getting there from a different direction. I'm starting again, since this is the outer one, I'm starting with it a little bit smaller in size. I want to make sure that I'm keeping all the hair together, but also not doing it too tight because this is the back, the nape of the hair. And we want to make sure that we're not causing any breakage to the back of their hair. All right, so for our last section, which looks like a little bit of a triangle, we're gonna actually just split that in half. We're gonna take two equal sides of this and we're gonna make sure we put our gel on the middle and the outsides because we're gonna do this as one complete braid. So for this braid, because we need it to be in the middle as the same as the others, we're actually gonna start at the opposite direction. So we're gonna start from the middle point where we're dropping everything off and we're gonna curve it around and we're gonna end up right back where we started. And that way we get to keep all the hair in the same direction, but everything is braided equally. So as you see there, I started at the other side and then I turned myself around when I needed to twist this braid. And again, it's still like a triangle, kind of looks like an arrow, but you're just twisting it in and then you're bringing it to the middle like each of the other braids and you're adding an elastic, not too tight. And this is what it's going to look like. So this was our right side when it's complete, and this was the left side when it's complete. Now that in itself took a bit of time, but now we're getting into step two. So we're going in now and we're going to take out the hair in the middle. Now I'm sectioning it in the middle of that middle section, but I just want to make sure that I have a good enough part to detangle. I want to make sure that I'm detangling all of the hair as I'm working through it. I'm using my wide tooth comb, I'm using my diamond brush dupe, and I'm also going in with product to make sure that the hair is thoroughly taken care of because again, it is a protective style and we want to make sure we are protecting the hair. So this is my Honey Hydrate leave-in conditioner. Absolutely love this. As you can see, I'm on the very last bits of it and I'm holding on to it. I'm pretty sure that the one that is out now is a reformulated version and I know I'm not gonna like it, but I'm gonna have to get a new one soon. So once I do add all of that on, I'm gonna start going through the hair. Now this middle part, we are doing single braids. We're doing the single braids because it's going to give that volume and that texture and that fullness to the style. Now, the first row that I did with the two, I did twist because I thought maybe I'm gonna like twist. I didn't like the twist. You can go the twist route if you like. It is a lot quicker, and I think that's why I wanted to go with the twist because I'm like, the style is taking forever already. But I just didn't like the look that I was getting, and I realized that one, the twist would curl up on themselves and shrink a lot quicker than the braids would, and it's easier for the hair to bend and wrap on itself, especially when you're like tying it at night. So I did leave the two twists in for now, but I do go back and I do do them as braids. But as you can see here, I've left enough space in the middle that I can have two rows of box braids beside each other. So I'm going in, I'm making sure that I'm working on the ends. I'm putting a little bit of gel as I go to make sure that the ends are staying as straight as I can get them to stay for now. But working with curly hair, you know that the hair is going to curl up and shrink and do what it wants whenever it wants, no matter how much prep and care we try and take with their hair. So I am going in, I'm keeping it at a decent size. I don't want to do them too big. I would love for them to be a lot smaller, but again, I don't want the style to take me 3 days to complete. So I'm going in with a nice little like medium sizing, and I'm just going in two rows, two columns, two sections beside each other, and I'm just working my way up. All right, so we are back again. Now he's in a new shirt. That's because he had to go to a birthday party. So it is the same day, but we stopped, we got ready, he went off to a birthday party, and now we're back. We were there and everybody's like, oh my gosh, his hair looks so great. And I'm like, please no. No, no, no. We are not even done. We're not even close to done. But if you guys think it looks great, that's wonderful for me. So we're going back in and we are continuing with our box braids in the middle. Again, make sure you are putting product on the hair before you go into braid. If you're using product, if you would like to go and do this style without product, that is absolutely fine as well. But you want to make sure that you're consistent, whether you're either using product or not. You want the style to look the same throughout. As you can see, the braids that were done before we left, I braided them together. They're a little bit shrunken, they're a little bit crinkled. So I do redo those at the end of the style. But as you can see, the way his hair looks freshly done and the way it looks even just after a little while, his hair shrinks. No matter what I do, no matter how nice it looks, his hair shrinks. All right, so after we've done all those braids up to that middle section, because remember we parted it in the middle before we started detangling. Once we braid it all the way up to there, we can start braiding the other ends of the hair. There's so many braiding, so many sections to braid. So this is now part 3. So we're in part 3 where we are braiding the ends of the initial braids, so the braids on our perimeter. Keep in mind, this is only going to be done for the braids from this section where you see that I am right now down. Anything above that, that is something completely different that we're going to be doing. So that middle line where we started doing the singles, from there down is where we're doing the ends of the hair. Now, make sure you want to keep all of the sizes of the singles that we're doing the same as the braids that are already done in the middle. So I did about 3 or 4 for this one, but it all just depends on how much hair you've left out and the size of the braids that you've done. Just make sure everything matches and they're cohesive. So now we're working with the front section. So we are going to be braiding these down. Let's say this is part 4. We are going to be braiding these down. So you're just going to be adding the hair together, kind of like if you were doing an Iverson braid or a fishbone braid. You just want to get all that hair from the perimeter braids, the ends. You want to get them all together, and we're just going to braid that down. And as soon as we get to the end of it there where the singles start, you're going to put in an elastic. Once you put in that elastic, you are then going to split up those ends and make some more braids. Again, so much splitting up, so many braids. It's a lot. That's why I said that this style looks so easy. It looks so simple, but there's just so many different parts that go along with it. So no, this style will not be a 1 hour style, get in, get out. But it will look great when it's done and it will last for a while. And it is a style that's easy to also touch up. So if you want to just refresh some of the braids or whatever, you can definitely do that and get a longer wear out of this style. We had this style in from December, and he went back to school with it in January. So yeah, definitely we got a good wear out of this style. So it is worth the time that it takes to get this done. So with these ones, it is a bit more than 3 or 4 at the ends because it is a large amount of hair. So just make sure you're making everything around the same size so everything blends together and looks cohesive. All right, now part 5, we are going to be working on that middle section front. So we're splitting that right down the middle. We're going to have 2 equal sections on each side. We're just going to split it. Make sure that you go in with your gel if you're using gel and you're cleaning everything up. Products that I've used will be listed in the description below if you want to get your hands on them. I will say right now, I'm not really using anything out of the ordinary, anything that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm just kind of using whatever I can get my hands on that doesn't cost an arm and a leg, because for some reason gel and every other hair product has gone up so ridiculously in price here in Canada. So it's just kind of hard to really be picky and really have favorites because the prices either increase or the quality decreases, or both happen. Price goes up and the quality goes down. So I will link those down there in the description, just in case you want to know what we're using specifically. So I'm going in now and I'm braiding. So again, we're going to be doing some more singles. So we are adding some singles to the front. We've separated them in two again, and you're going to make sure that that line matches up to the part that you did for the bottom section. So you want everything to be that same middle part, same alignment, but we're just working it in different quadrants. So now that we're going in, we're just making sure that these are all squares, because we, doing box braids, you want to make sure that they all line up. I think I kind of lined them up to the braids on the perimeter beside them so that it's all kind of the same part from left to right, or yeah, completely from left to right. But then also when I'm doing the braids on the left side, they will match up to the braids in the middle on the right side. Now you'll see here it looks a little wavy. That's not because I didn't part it properly. That's just kind of his head shape. That's just kind of how it's been. So make sure that you're paying attention to what your little one's head shape is. And you're not trying to overcorrect it to do something that it can't. You just work with what you have and just make sure that you're cleaning up the lines as best as you can for the material that you're given. So I'm going in and I'm finishing that up. Once I'm done, I'm going in with my Blue Magic. Love this stuff. I like to grease the scalp when I'm done. That way I know for sure what parts of the scalp I need to grease. And it just makes it a little bit easier on my hands while I'm braiding. It's not as slippery and it's not overcoating all of the hair. So I go in and I put it on all of his head, all the perimeter braids, all the middle braids, and then I put a little bit, rub it in my hands, and then I add that to the hair itself. This is great to refresh throughout this style as well. Don't put too much because you don't want to just like fill the hair up with product. You don't want it to have too much buildup on the hair, but you do want to make sure that you're just keeping it smooth and keeping, some product going in there. So as you can see, those middle braids, I'm going in with an elastic and I'm tying them together, tying them down. And then I'm getting the perimeter braids and I'm putting that around those. And I'm also going to put an elastic, but I'm going to put an elastic with the middle ones attached. So I'm going to have the middle elastic sections in with the outer elastic sections, and everything is just in one nice little pony. And you can see this stray random braid that just wanted to stay up and act up. So I'm just going back in. If you guys have any of those, just go back in, braid to where it stops acting weird, and then just loosely re-braid it. And that way the braid will just hang properly and it won't stick up. You can also put elastics on the end if you like. You can put beads on the end if you like, but we didn't go with that route. As you can see, the smile says it all. Thumbs up. He loves it. And this is the final look, guys. This is how our style turned out. So you can go ahead and add beads, elastics, shells if you like. Just because we didn't doesn't mean that you don't have to. We hope you enjoyed this video. We hope it was in-depth enough for you. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave those in the comment section below. Thumbs up this video if you like it. Please make sure you share with your friends and family. And you can find us on all of our socials at Keeping Up with Cam. Make sure you come back for the next one. See you. Bye.